महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महादेवमुदं शिरसा नमामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि.
The space between the person and the role obviously is not physical. In the theatre, the actor plays a role. And the actor is not affected by the role. The lot of the role is not desirable. A villain's role, some tragedy. So somebody plays the role of Othello, the most tragic play is this Othello. Hamlet is crazy. This Othello is the real tragedy. A person who is happy and suddenly becomes unhappy. All because of an Iago, a schemer. So what happens? This sudden change of plot, that's Shakespearean. And there nobody is like him in changing the plot quickly. And you find everything changes. It's just amazing. It's a tragedy. Somebody plays the role of Othello. And even the people who are seeing the play would be shedding tears. And Othello plays this role, making everybody sad, himself sad. And the fellow is very happy that he is playing the role so well. So his happiness to play that role so well lies in the space between the role and the person. And the person who plays the role is not the role. But the role is the person. Therefore, I say, actor A plays the role of a begging person B. B undergoes privations. Actor A enjoys the space to remember all the lines. Even if the other fellows in the cast, suppose, make some omissions and commissions, and the rehearsals, those lines are not there. They introduce some lines, omit some lines. Children, when they do in the school, the teacher always would put the neck out and then say this, because unless this child says this, that fellow will not say that. His line he won't say. So this fellow has to say this line, then only the other fellow will say the line. And therefore, so the teacher has to make the child say the line. That's because they are not actors. The real actors can make up for the others' omissions and commissions, and can keep the drama going. So this capacity lies in the space. The space is, I am not the role, that is space. I am not the role, that is the space. There is no other space available. Again, A is not out. When the B is out on the stage, A is not sitting in the backstage. A is out. Where B is, A is. B's body is A's body. There is no physical space between the two. The space that obtains is A is not B. That A is not B is called self-awareness. Understand? It is self-awareness. So in self-awareness, what is the self there? Now A is, suppose let us say Amitabh Bachchan. A knows I am Amitabh. Even though he plays the role here of a beggar. But then A knows I am Amitabh. Father of so-and-so. I have been in these Indian movies acting hero. So all this self-identity he has got. I am the one who played so many roles. And all this self-identity he has got everything about himself he knows. Mr. Bachchan. Therefore there is no problem. But in real life, now what he knows, Krishna says this also is a role what you are playing differently, what you get, what you become, what makes you sad. Playing the role of mother, playing the role of father, one becomes sad. Even that role is a role. It seems to be alright, but who is that person who plays the role? What are all the details about that person? The other role I can understand because this is the person who plays that role. So this person has got self-identity. Father of so-and-so, son of so-and-so, that self-identity is there. But the son of so-and-so, father of so-and-so also is a role. Then what is the self-identity? Shift. You have to shift the scales of your vision. This is what I say. That's what the Gita is. You have to shift. Now sitting there, if you want to solve problem, attending workshops and all that, without changing the vision, and holding on to the nose and still this and that, then what will happen? Nothing will happen. That's why that it's a shift in your vision in terms of reality. So it's purely cognitive. Why people are allergic to cognitive change, I don't understand. All that is required is a cognitive change. In a shift in your understanding of reality. How people develop allergy towards that? Some kind of a problem in terms of thinking, or some local anesthesia. Saying this is all intellectual. If the solution is understanding, you have to go for it. Why allergy? That remains always a mystery to me. In fact, we can perhaps trace reasons for that also. But what I say, the shift in the vision is that I have to look at myself as one who obtains when one happens to see a mountain. You see a range of mountains. You are happy. Suppose a range of mountains or a river, the riverbed, and whatever you see, something that doesn't evoke the demanding person in you. If you want those mountains to be different, then I am not talking of that person. When you relate to the mountains, when you see the huge mountains, when you say, and suddenly, when you see mountains, and then suppose you are asked to draw some natural, some picture, some drawing. What do? This is what I do. And I think most of the people do the same thing. You know what? I know this much only drawing. Mountain. Another mountain. Then sun is rising. Correct? So down below river. So this is all. And then I would like to, on the bank, I want to put a tree. And it doesn't come, it doesn't stand this way. And therefore, so this is all we know. And that's our imagination. Therefore when you see the mountain and suddenly you see a snow peak, you see that. If not sun, snow peak, you see. These snow peaks, they are so what, zealous. They don't reveal themselves. And they are always covered. You go to Gunjapuri, there is one place called Gunjapuri. And you go there. And you go there to see the snow peak. Do you know what happens? And that day there will be cloud. So you come back. You can't do anything. Helpless. One patch of clouds. That's all. It's over. So you make a trip and you come back. It's always like that. And then everybody will say, Swamiji, whenever I go, this is what will happen. But I tell you one truth. Everybody said the same thing. But there are peaks, snow peaks there. From there you can see. Some days you can see when the sky is clear. So when you see, then when you say, then there is a person there. That person is not father, is not son, is not uncle, is not cousin. Understand? He is just a person, a simple, conscious being, non-demanding. The same, as a father also, as a father you look at your son and as a child, and then also you can say, at that time you are the same simple, conscious person. There is no father. Father had done the job and gone. And you become simple. A simple, non-demanding, conscious person. In meditation, you'd like to invoke that person, may not invoke, means avoid everything else so that you become simple. I use the word become. All these words are useless words. You are simple. You are conscious person. That is you. You don't become that. Everything else you become. Tense you become. Correct? The tense person you become. Father you become. Son you become. Husband you become. Wife, mother you become. Sister you become. These are all roles you assume. And minus, bereft of rules, minus all the rules, who are you? A simple conscious being. Is this enough? This conscious being is individual. To this body, mind, sense complex, there is an individual conscious being. To whom that person is connected. As a son connected to parents, as a father connected to children, as an individual conscious being to whom you are connected. As an individual conscious being, it is obvious I am connected to the total conscious being. Correct? If there is one. Whether you recognize, if there is one conscious being who is total, who includes your body, mind, sense complex, every body, mind, sense complex, including this world that you come across, objects you come across, everything that is there, total. And if there is a conscious being, and who includes everything, and as an individual you are related to the total. How you are related to the total? Because the total the same way, every individual will be related. It's not true with reference to father, mother. You say, this is my father. Your grandfather says, this is my son. What are you talking? He is not father, he is my son. So to your grandfather he is son. To you he is father. Understand? And therefore, so the father relates to your grandfather as father, not as grandfather. And therefore, so he relates to your grandfather as son, and he is his father. And you relate to him as grandfather and as his grandson. So these relationships always interpersonal change. Like a tree standing in a forest. Just for an example. A tree is standing in the forest. It is related to other trees. There are his own, the trees, children trees, they come from the roots, they are all my children. From the seeds that fell down also they are there, they are all my children. And this is my mother tree. Old tree is there with a lot of holes. And that is my mother tree, old tree, who is to be attended to geriatrically. And thus there is a interpersonal relationship. It is different. Correct? There are fellow trees. There are other trees. Other trees means what? So I am an oak tree. So there are fellow oak trees. And there are other trees, mango trees, and other trees. They know there are other trees belonging to different species, but they are all trees. Like we are all human beings. that there are other communities are there, and therefore you say this, that the ethnic differences are there, communities are there, but all of us are human beings. So there is a certain relationship with all of them. You find as a human being, you have got other human beings, you are friend to all of them. So like this, the tree is related to all other trees. But then every tree is standing in the forest, correct? So this tree is also standing in the forest. The other tree, your son tree also standing in the forest. Your father tree also, mother tree also standing in the forest. Everybody is standing in the forest, means all other trees standing in the forest. Therefore, every tree is related to the forest. As what? Individual, total. The forest is an entity. What entity? Total entity. In a tree you don't get lost. In a forest you can get lost. And that is the reason why, so this simplistic philosophy. So somebody wants to talk about the individual. He doesn't know how to talk about other social issues and all that. Therefore, what he does, so some social peace and things like that, something. No, peace lies society. The social peace is societal peace. Societal peace is, the society consists of individuals. Therefore, individual peace is there, then there will be total peace. This is not Indian. We have got Shanti for that also, total Shanti. Individual Shanti is one Shanti, second Shanti is society Shanti, third Shanti, God Shanti it is. With reference to God, let there be Shanti. Practical. And he says, when if individual is at peace, and everybody will be peace. This is called simplistic answer. Like one Yadav told, that why these people say there is no money, there is no money, there is no money. You elect me to the government, I will start new printing presses. Understand? This is called simplistic. It's not that simplistic. Maybe simple, but not simplistic. Because it doesn't stick what you said. There is a total forest. Individual tree cannot be a habitat for the wild animals like tigers, like lions, and their dinner, deer, and so on. And therefore, so that forest is an entity. Even though the individual trees count in a forest, without which there is no forest. If you cut all the trees, forest is gone. And we are the great accomplished people in terms of destroying forests. But not, so we don't cut the forest, but we cut the trees, correct? That's true. But that doesn't mean there is no forest. It's an entity. And especially here it is much more. I am an individual, conscious being. Now the question is, individual you say, and your total is confined to some other human beings. But this total should include all the stars. Correct? You are a connected person. And if you take the whole total, we don't recognize the total as a conscious being. You recognize the total as a scheme of things, correct? It is called world. The world of things. And some people. And therefore, so then how you are going to have that self-identity? There is no objectivity. Objectivity lies in understanding the subject being. Subject is what? Who is the subject? What is this conscious being? Who is aware of everything? Who is this conscious being? All about this conscious being one should know. Then only one can be objective. Unless one is objective with reference to oneself, then there is no way of relating to the roles as roles. There is no way. You have to first relate yourself first to the total. That entity has to be understood properly. Your position in the scheme of things to be understood. That individual conscious being related to the total. And therefore, we need to have a certain inquiry.
Mahaganapatin manasa smarami Mahadeva mudam shirasa namami Mahaganapatin manasa smarami.